Some people would say he's the modern day Carlos Mencia.
One day we'll do it, though.
No facts.
We should do all 4 sections on Carlos Mencia.
And then
if we started a Patreon, this is the shit we could put on our Patreon. We could put the stupid, dumb ideas that we don't care about views on our Patreon page.
Oh, Carlos Mencia is back on the topic again. No one to watch that.
We just do all the topics from like the early 2000s, late 90s. Would do, is Jerry Springer bad for TV?
Welcome to the One Up Podcast. I am your host, El Caballo, aka Tony, here with my co-host and dearly good, beloved friends. Got my dog DJ Doey Fresh on the ones and twos.
Mute Gang.
You didn't mute yourself this time.
No, it's always Mute Gang from now on.
Also in the building, the Texas one without a gun, Mateo. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, bud? Feels good to be back. I'm mostly recovered. Still getting over my bicycle accident, but you know, such is.
Yeah, that sucks, man. That you fell on your bike.
It's bound to happen eventually, right? Like it's bound to happen eventually. So I'm glad that I didn't get like seriously injured. I don't have a broken arm or anything like that. That would be miserable.
I mean, that's the way you do it, though. Trying to catch yourself, snap something quick.
That's what I've heard.
It's happened to Doey, right?
It's fucking like scary. Scary.
Doey broke both his wrists in one fall.
Yeah, that's right. I said, Mom, look, Ma, no hands.
Oh, this is when you were a kid. I was like, I don't remember you breaking anything recently.
Broke both my wrists at the same time.
Have you guys seen that crazy story on Reddit about the kid who broke both his arms?
Mm-mm.
It's a Reddit classic. We don't got to get into it, but you guys should look it up. It's terrible.
Last but not least, the bald one, the great one, Pucho.
Freshly bald, okay? Just 30 minutes
that
ago.
Shit
I
is
can see the sheen.
Yeah, you got to shine.
There's a sheen, bro, that like never before.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
It's just for you guys. I was told to throw on a hat, and I said no. This head will be shined. It will be shiny. It'll be smooth as an egg.
Nary a hat will be worn.
Nary a hair will be seen.
Facts. Nary a hair.
Pucho prides himself in being no hair pooch. Well, on the scalp at least.
I mean, you gotta own it. Being bald is disrespected all the time. So you gotta own it.
Yeah, it's definitely hard because like I feel like me being bald, I look like a straight. Like I won't look good with bald. I don't think I can pull it off.
I think it's because you're afraid to own it. That's why you don't have you gotta have that confidence. You just gotta walk in the room like you were meant to be bald. Nobody questions Michael Jordan when he has a bald head. The guy just wears his bald head. He just with them nasty bell bottoms he be wearing, the massive pairs of jeans,
the hoop earring.
Boots. But the bald head, no one questions, and that's what's important.
Yeah. Some would say that's why he was so good on the court. Aerodynamic, just slipping through.
Fredro Starr from Onyx claims that he is the reason. Onyx is the reason Jordan shaved his head bald. Apparently. But Fredro Starr has also claimed a lot of other things too.
Does he still rap? Or no, they just retired,
but
right?
He talks a lot of shit. Still.
He's a real hood guy though. Like he still lives in the hood, right? He still does hood activities and stuff.
I hope that I don't get that old and still behave that way. This guy's a fucking grandfather.
You think he's still doing ghetto shit?
You can see him. He's like any. You don't remember when he pressed Charlemagne?
Yeah, sorry.
That was on the radio.
When I say ghetto shit, I mean like you think he's still selling drugs to try to make money?
I don't think so.
I feel like the guy was in like 3 different movies.
He's in movies, yeah.
He was in video games.
What video game?
He was in
least the fighting
the Def Jam game. At least in the second Def Jam game, he played a core role. He was like one of the major villains, one of the henchmen. It was cool.
Did those games have stories? Did they have a full storyline that was going on in the games?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I never played them. They look goofy.
The game's a WWF clone, pretty much like a wrestling clone, and it comes with all the drama, but it's just like there's a hood texture on top of the wrestling, so it's just like, it's like this mobster gets locked up, and then you're trying to like maintain the territory until he gets out of jail, and there's backstabbings and there's alliances, and it's like all that kind of stuff. The whole time you're wrestling people. That's how you maintain the territory. It's ridiculous, man.
It's
It was
crazy
awesome.
how much of like the mafia stuff poured into rap in like early 90s and stuff like that. They were all talking about being the Dons, and
It's because of Scarface.
Scarface dies
Even
at
though
the
it has
end.
nothing to do with-
I feel like no one actually watched that movie because that man dies at the end. It's not like the top of the world and stays there or anything.
Man
it's
went
a
out like a
glorious
G.
death. You see, that's what I'm saying. There's like a hood element to this. Where
Say
it's
hello
like
to
you
my
go
little
out.
friend. Man just starts
Right.
blasting.
So like a lot of people are attracted to Tony Montana, but those people barely get the movie. The real people who get the movie want to be like Sosa. That's what, because he's the boss. He's the guy who sent all the guys to go and kill Tony.
boss activities, man.
There's who's this guy? The rapper. He's like he wants to be like Sosa, right? Isn't there a guy?
Chief Keef?
Sure, Chief Keef calls himself Sosa.
There you go. It's
Yeah.
because of Scarface.
Are you sure he's not talking about Sammy Sosa? He wants to be like a daywalker vampire.
It's a possibility.
An
In the
athlete.
alternate universe, Chief Keef was talking about Sammy Sosa.
Think he would have bleached his skin?
Yeah, in an
you
alternate
have to.
universe. Yeah.
That's what happens
wild.
after you share blood with the Dark Lord. Your skin bleaches.
He'd look like one of those, the Matrix, the twins, and like, what is that? The Matrix?
The second Matrix movie,
Those
the
albino
twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they are.
Yo, I did not know that. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. That he was in
Yeah.
Destiny. I did
He
not
was in
know
everything,
He's in
dude.
everything,
He was
yeah.
in everything. If
This-
you like chose a game at random from your library, he was probably in it. If you chose a movie at random, he was probably in it.
that. It's so
He was in
crazy to me.
everything.
Yeah, I like now that he passed. It's like I see him in so many things. And I was like, dang, he was in this. He was like the Godfather in Destiny, pretty much. Like he's the voice and all. I was like,
Yeah, he played Zavala, right?
mhm.
I always
I
played
was
as a
shocked.
Titan, so I talked to him a lot.
Yeah, I was shocked. I'm like, wow, this guy literally has been in everything. And it's kind of cool that he's immortalized in Destiny now. So it's just like, pretty dope. He had
He'll
a
always be Lieutenant Daniels to me,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Daniels.
and from The Wire.
Oh, facts.
Wow, you
Yeah,
forgot he was in The
I
Wire.
forgot he was in The Wire. And man,
He'll always
like
be
I- I feel like I know most of the plot of The Wire, even though I've never seen a single like episode 2 completion. I've just seen bits and pieces. I've seen clips that people send me. Like I get the gist of it. I think I get it.
he's one of
You
those.
don't get it. You need to watch it. It's amazing.
It's important.
Did you finish it though?
Yeah.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course.
See, The Wire dragged all us ghetto people in because it takes place in the ghetto, and we're like, oh, it's a ghetto ass show. But what the show is about is how sad the ghetto is, and how the ghetto-ness perpetuates further ghetto-ness, and it's like
Never
and-
ending.
And yeah, it's a really cool. Like,
Got some iconic
story.
actors.
Well, I mean, even the baddest man in the neighborhood gets killed by a kid, right?
Yeah. In the convenience store, it's crazy. I do like with Lance too. Though there's a couple actors out there. They just have that voice. You know what I mean? Like it's just who's the other guy? The old guy. Dang, what's his name?
Are you thinking of the other guy from the John Wick movies?
No.
The one that plays Al Swearingen? Because that guy has the voice.
Oh, he
that guy
does have
has
a
the
voice. I'm talking about
Even
Morgan Freeman.
Even
Morgan
his
Freeman.
one episode appearance in Game of Thrones, just as that preacher, like it was one of the late seasons. So good, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
the guy
he
has
was
the
in Game
voice
of-
for sure.
I forgot he was in.
Yeah,
Game
he
of
was
Thrones.
the priest guy. He was hanging out with the hound,
Mhm.
and they killed his ass.
Worked.
Poor guy.
But yeah, Morgan Freeman's another one that has that voice that just can't. It's very distinctive. You know it's him.
Well, I mean, like Robin Williams, right? No one can be Robin Williams. No one can be George Carlin. They had distinctive voices. They had distinctive like cadences to their humor and their like the way they talked.
Who's
Some
George
people
Carlin?
call me George Carlin.
You're asking who George Carlin is?
Yeah, I probably know who he is. I just don't know his name.
He was most famous for what was his thing? The 7 words you can't say on TV.
He's a comedian.
He's a comedian,
But he's done some acting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. He was in Dogma. Was he in Dogma?
He was in
Dogma,
right?
My
and
God.
Jay,
that Dogma was
Jay and Silent Bob.
I kind of like Dogma, actually.
Strikes Back.
Oh, that movie, that's the one where they're like fallen angels and the guy takes the Uzi and he sprays them up and he just shoots the wings off.
Shoots all his wings
so
off.
much gore. It's horrible.
What?
God.
I've never seen that movie.
I dig that one.
That's cool.
I think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck is in that movie.
Oh, Tony, he's the dude. He's the guy from the future in Bill and Ted.
I have never seen Bill and Ted.
Never
Really?
Yeah.
Man, we should do a movie night and watch Bill and Ted.
Yeah,
I'm down for that. It involves time travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
Back to
gotta
the
watch
future
it.
shit. What were you saying though? That you said someone said that you had the voice of what?
That was just a joke.
Oh,
I was gonna say some people call him the modern day George Carlin.
The modern day Robin Williams is what he was going to go for.
Oh, is he gonna go for Robin Williams?
It's
he's
better
going
that
for
I
the-
don't say who now, but yeah, we could just wonder.
Some people would say he's the modern day Carlos Mencia.
oh,
Yeah, facts.
Ooh.
Doughboy's
Whoa,
voice.
Facts. You'll accept that?
That's okay. I will
Carlos
accept it only because it is unaccepted as a topic for this for years.
Bro, that's hilarious.
One day we'll do it, though.
No facts.
Your
I want to do a
dream
deep
Of
dive.
having a podcast that does a deep dive on Carlos Mencia.
We should
will
do
be
all 4
complete.
sections on Carlos Mencia.
I don't think
We gotta
there's
first
no
watch
way.
the video, the Tiger Belly video,
See,
and then
if we started a Patreon, this is the shit we could put on our Patreon. We could put the stupid, dumb ideas that we don't care about views on our Patreon page.
No one would watch. Oh, Carlos Mencia is back on the topic again. No one would watch that.
oh, so sure.
But
We just do all
question
the topics from like the early 2000s, late 90s. Would do is Jerry Springer bad for TV?
that'll actually be interesting though. Wonder how many people out there would be like, "Oh wait, who? What?"
Who started July 4th?
Where did it come from?
Yeah.
When-
Who created Easter? Who created the Easter
Yeah, I'm
bunny?
sorry that
Where did
you
it
guys
come
are not interested in how things start.
I do have questions about Easter though, Tony. Does the Easter bunny lay the eggs or not?
Can't even believe. And I'm done with this guy.
It's a real question that you don't
Bunnies
remember the
don't
headline.
lay.
question.
Bunnies don't lay eggs.
But the Easter bunny's a magical being. He doesn't follow the rules of normal bunnies.
Okay, sure. He lays all the eggs. I don't know what to say. That's
What's
the most stupidest thing too.
What is more believable to you? This Easter bunny's going around and laying these magical eggs that you're going and trying to find, or he's meticulously going to the store, buying like, a bunch of plastic eggs and filling it, like putting shit in them at his house, and
Decorating them.
He's decorating
hiding
them.
I would believe the first one. There's no
See?
way this bunny has a bank account and a house to go to with painting and stuff. There's no way. Get out of here. All this magical shit.
Where does he get the matter to lay that many eggs, though?
He eats a bunch of chickens.
Or he steals from the chickens.
He's got a chicken farm.
Nah, that's crazy.
All right, I had a question, though. Have you guys seen all these people getting shot?
Yeah,
There's these-
there was a ton. I was on CNN earlier, and I saw that all their top headlines are all shooting related.
Well, what is going on right now?
Could not
People are
tell you,
getting
dude.
shot for no reason. Somebody got shot right outside an HEB, your hometown.
Yep.
Literally
Yeah,
your
so-
hometown. I think it was like in Dallas or something, but HEB, that's your home.
That was the cheerleader one, right? The 2 cheerleaders that got shot. Yeah, that's nutty.
don't-
I have no idea, dude.
Things like this make me say people just shouldn't have guns.
Yeah,
Facts.
some people should.
Have
not
you seen these
guns.
stories, Tom?
Yeah, I've seen that in the Sweet 16. They get 4
Yeah,
dead and 16 injured or something crazy like that.
Yeah, that sounded like there was a gang situation.
Oh,
I don't know how you
has
could shoot
to
that
be.
many people.
That's-
But nah, like these girls jumped into a car and they thought it was theirs, but it didn't belong to them. They saw there was a guy sitting in there. They got freaked out. They exited the car. Then they walked to their car. They sat in the car. and the guy walked up to their window and just aired them out, poo, 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 and just shot them. And I'm like, if you shot them when they sat in your car, there could be some plausible self-defense claims there. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you got out of your car to go and attack these people, it's like you're just looking to kill somebody. Or like in New York, these people were driving around, they went down the wrong street, and then they pulled into a guy's driveway to like do a 3-point turn, and they pulled in, and as they were backing out, some Rambo man jumped out on his porch, started firing. I'm like, what the hell?
That's
or like
wild.
there was this little kid, 5-year-old kid playing with a basketball in their front yard. The ball fell into the neighbor's yard. The neighbor came out, shot the kid's 2 parents, and then shot at like another family member. He shot a kindergarten kid in the face.
I think they're claiming that one's racial too. Like there's something, I saw something in that one where they were talking about how there's been some racial tension there, because I think it was a bunch of black people that he shot at, basically, right?
No, it's opposite. It was a black man shooting at a white family. Yeah.
I saw something that was saying there was some kind of racial component, but I honestly haven't read into any of these super detailed or anything.
All these shootings made me feel like we're in a simulation, because the first shooting happened with the old white man and the young black kid, and it was like, oh, these people are so racist. We gotta address our racism in this country.
I mean, there's
and
an element there.
What?
There was an element of racism. They let the guy off like 2 hours after he shot the kid, and none of the.
Is that where it's coming from? I just saw some stuff on Twitter that they were talking about, like there was some kind of racial element to it.
I mean, the kid knocked on the neighbors' doors. Nobody wanted to open up. None of the neighbors wanted to talk about the neighbor to either police or to Eyewitness News. It was all like none of them said anything.
That's crazy. That is wild.
But
nor
like
did
I was
they
saying,
open their doors.
That shooting happened, and it was like, oh, the country's so racist, so blah blah. There's this racial element, all this stuff, and then within like 36 hours, the Mexican guy shoots the teenagers, the black man shoots the white family, and then this random white guy shoots these white ladies, and it's like they try to hit you with like a diversity of shootings on the national stage, and I'm like, oh man, it's kind of weird that these are the ones that are picked. I'm sure other people got shot, but it's just interesting that these are the major stories. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm always skeptical. Like, I'm like, all right, are these chosen to like kind of like deflect from whatever the heat was from like that first shooting where that kid got shot in the head? I don't know.
Sad though.
Or we live in some crazy coincidence.
It's very sad.
Or Americans aren't as racist as we think they are, and everybody just shoots everybody.
Bullets
These are all possibilities.
Those are the only 2 options there.
I don't know if anybody has heard or seen, but this gaming developer company named Drama released an early game, just like a quick trailer of it with the Unreal Engine. It's called Unrecord. It's a first-person shooter, and your view is like the body cam of an officer. My first thoughts, that thing looked real. Like
the first like 10 seconds or so of that trailer, like I thought it was just straight up body cam footage.
I've never seen a game in such early stages that looks that real.
Yeah, it's not. There's no game that has looked this real, because they're not doing conventional like graphics. It's some weird combination of like real footage, and then like they're doing animations on like real people. It's like they're doing like a weird kind of, I don't think they invented the technology, but I think they're kind of, doing some interesting things with it.
Well,
my first takeaway was like, this looked like mass shooter training. I was like, this looks too spooky. I was like, this is weird.
I saw a comment on Reddit where someone was like, for the first 30 seconds of this, I straight up thought this was just some raw footage of a homeless shelter, like shooting or something.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy. I'm curious how it's going to control. I'm curious how it's going to sell, because I think that there is a growing sentiment to not play a lot of cop games amongst gamers.
I would play this game just to see. Like, I mean, it kind of puts it in perspective too. Like, I hope it's just not just entering a building like this. I hope it's like you get in your cop car, you get out, you're doing like normal police jobs, maybe. Hopefully, I don't think it might be, but just to give you maybe their side and how, like, just watching the video, I was already kind of nervous, like peeking at the corner while you're shooting somebody, because when the bullets, it's giving you that weird visual of like incoming rounds and stuff. So I already was like, oh wow, like this is crazy. Like, I think it'll be interesting to play. Might, give some of you guys who, don't really see why cops do certain things, might give you a different look if you, play it through their eyes, I guess.
I don't think a shooter where you're assuming it's going to have the normal shooter mechanic. I don't think a shooter where you're probably going to end the game with a body count of like 150 plus people is the game that's going to change my mind and be like, you know what? Cops should shoot all those people they've been shooting.
Not really as bad as I thought they would.
But no, I mean,
I don't know what the hell Tony's on about.
I'm saying, like,
that's out of control.
I'm hoping.
Let's talk about the more important things.
Most cops don't even shoot at anybody their whole career. So like, I don't know.
Which is fantastic. But in this situation, he's entering a building. He's clearly trying to either take somebody down or like, chase somebody, but they're shooting
I
at
don't
him.
know. I didn't hear him announce his presence once. He didn't try to arrest anyone. He just started shooting.
He just started.
There was a couple infractions.
He
for
saw
sure.
one guy run by. He saw one guy run by, and he's like, "Oh, I'm shooting that guy."
I mean, you don't know. Maybe it was already hostile. He already, you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
It could be. Like, I can't dispute that.
I just think it's good. It looks so real that I want to try it. And I was talking.
Somebody got their hands on like the most realistic shit, and then they're like, "I'm gonna make GoldenEye from Nintendo 64 on it."
I suspect the aiming's going to be kind of like GoldenEye. I hope I'm wrong because it does look really good. Like it's fantastic. I want to see some spooky games with that kind of like found footage, like graphic quality.
Yeah, like I said,
and then I won't play them. I'll just watch other people play them on YouTube.
Oh, now you're doing the me thing. That's what I like to do with certain games. But no,
dude, some of the spooky games, man, I can't deal with them. They're too stressful. I was just watching the trailer for the new Amnesia one that's coming out, where you're just in a bunker and there's a monster chasing you the entire time. It looks good and stressful.
What's that? That's weird. I don't want to be chased by a monster all day long. This too much stress for no reason.
It's basically Outlast, right? It's an Outlast just running away from people the entire time.
Yeah, very weird. Off air, Pucho said that this is not a VR game, but I mean, this would be a dope VR game. I wouldn't mind. I don't even own VR, but one day I will.
I think it'll feel weird because the perspective of the game is like from a body cam, not from somebody's head. So I feel like it'll feel very strange to be trying to move your head around and not actually move your vision.
I mean, that's a good point, honestly.
Yeah. But no, I mean, anybody.
I just want to see Tony try to kick in that door like the dude does at the beginning, just take his entire TV out.
If no one's checked it out,
up until that kick,
what?
I was still wondering, is this real? This is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that kick is what it made me. Oh, the animation. I was like, oh, that looked like an animation. I was like, that looked weird.
It is. It does look really good. It looks ridiculously good. I think it's Unreal Engine 5, right?
Yeah.
It fooled me for a while.
It was up until the point where Mateo said where he started running, then you could see it. I'm like, yeah. When he was running, then that's when you can see like, oh, it's a game. But other than
there's a chunk of building he goes through too, and the cuts on it are just too clean. That little like hole in the wall that he goes through.
Nah, yeah, for sure. Gaming's only gonna get better. Doesn't like, you know what the downfall is like they get it so realistic on these gameplay trailers and all that, and then you get the game and it's nothing like it. Like, how many games have done that?
A decent amount. I mean, Witcher 3 had this like trailer where they showed off this crazy like tracking system, right? And the game wasn't the tracking in the game was not like that. You pressed like you did like an R3 click, and then you saw little like trails of light or something. A lot of misleading stuff in trailers.
But if you haven't checked it out,
you let that guy talk his shit. Who's the guy who who like famously said like Spore. It's the guy who created Spore. It's that guy
Peter Molyneux.
Peter Molyneux. He just
Peter Molyneux.
hot. He talked a lot of hot boy shit. Niggas said 1,000 things would be in the game. Shit would be like one thing. What he said would be in the game.
If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out.
Because he did it with Black and White.
Mm-hmm.
He did it with Spore. He did it with Fable. In Fable, he was like, you will plant up a seed and you'll come back 20 years later and there'll be a tree. Anywhere you want to plant a seed, there'll be a tree later. He's like, you'll kill a random thief and his son will grow up to try to get revenge on you. Like this stuff that I was like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. And it never really played out like that. Fable had cool things. But
imagine if the game did, though. Every person you killed in the game, their son grew up to come and chase you down. The end game would just be you killing a bunch of dudes' sons.
And then their sons, and then their sons. And
at that point, you got to just keep going down the family. You might as well just end it everybody. Or you're just going to keep battling.
If you're an
There's
assassin.
Tony advocating for genocide. Okay.
Just like the Lannisters did to that house in the Winds of Castamere, or whatever that song is called.
The Reigns, yeah.
Reigns of Castamere.
Well, if you haven't had a chance, go check it out. It's on YouTube or anywhere pretty much. You can watch gameplay footage of it, the game.